Empire agents, it serves as a physical view that capsular training has been able to locate the anomaly through the space and more attributes. Okay, what we can find in contracts? What we can do with these, bro? We can sell these, I think. Yeah. For now, keep these things in hangar. Cluster shut down in 4 minutes. What does that mean, bro? What does that mean? Cluster shut down. Maybe server shut down? Bro, let me know what is this. Let me know fast. Let me search in. I was also listening to music. Cluster shut down. Eve online. What is this, bro? Shutdown. What is this? The cluster shutdown is scheduled downtown where server maintenance for daily at. Okay, that's service maintenance. Okay. For now, we don't do missions. We sit here. We just do some kind of research, maybe. Okay, we have everything. Claim on. We have claimed enough discs. We need 8 days for these skills to get fully. I think we can also start training. What we can do with this skill, how much we need for one to finish, bro? Like if we want to, can we finish? No, 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 no. This will consume everything. Everything, bro. We don't want that. We just let's just see how much. We don't want that. Remove it. Interview using content. जी अस्सलाम वालेकुम वालेकुम सलाम जी ठीक जी सुनो ये हाँ जी ज़बरदस्त ना ना सी सुनाओ क्यों कॉल की थी खैर खैरियत बस कमे ना नहीं लगे आया कि तो फिर टाइम नहीं मिला ठीक है अल्लाह का शुक्र खैर खैरियत नहीं आए अच्छा वैसो अज भाबियां किन्ने आ अज उधर वैसो किन्ने आ चलो ना कोई मसला तो नहीं होना पर ये कि गड्डी ने क्या फायदा नहीं फिर ठीक है कोई मसला नहीं कोई मसला नहीं मैं आख्या समय कोई मसला नहीं जुलन के ना कोई इशू कोई बड़ी गल नहीं पर ये कि ऐ नहीं उन्हें कोई गड्डी कोई मसला नहीं आओ आप ही के ना हो और इतनी बड़ी के बंदा लाना रहेगा हाँ चलो ठीक है हाँ सही है कोई मसला नहीं किसी और ने कार सी हो यार तो फिर जानना ही पे यार ना ऐसी भी इतना ना करा जाने ना बना हम्म, हम्म। चलो ठीक है बस आई गल है बस दिमाग जाई तो किसी ने नहीं हसाना खैर हाँ just watch these online guides just watch these online guides
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the complete beginner's guide to mining in EVE Online. This noble guide will cover just about every basic aspect of mining that you could ever need to know. We'll start by looking at your first day's mining in Adventure and work our way through how mining barges work, ice and gas harvesting, and even briefly touch on some of the more advanced areas of mining. So let's get started with the absolute basics. What is mining and why should you do it? In its simplest form, mining is the act of getting in a ship, equipping at least one mining laser, finding an asteroid, locking it up, and shooting at it. Sounds easy, right? Well, yes, mechanically it pretty much is that simple. But if you really want to start earning the big bucks, then there are many, many more steps we need to work on before we become the turbocharged rock muncher that you always dreamed of. Mining is an important part of the EVE universe, and without it, there would be no ships, no modules, no citadels, nothing. EVE's economy is almost entirely player-driven, with only a few exceptions. Without industrial players harvesting space rocks, New Eden would be a very dull place. Players drawn to mining are normally lured in by one of two things. The first being the more passive playstyle that mining encourages, allowing you to pad your wallet whilst being semi-AFK and only checking in every so often to make sure your lasers are still running and your hold isn't overflowing. On the other side of the fence, there are the players that want to push the limits of what they can mine in order to maximize their profits. Deciding whether you should sell your ore or use it to make your own modules and ships is a topic that we'll discuss a little later on and is important to understand when trying to make the most ISK possible. For now though, let's take a little look at what your first days mining in EVE Online might look like and what to aim for next. As some famous guy once said, a man is only as good as his tools. And whilst I'm not entirely sure what he meant by that, it's actually quite a fitting analogy for EVE. The first tool that you need to get your hands on is a ship known as the Venture. The Venture is a popular entry-level mining frigate, ideal for beginner miners and gas harvesters. We'll talk about how to get hold of a Venture in a moment, but first let's talk about why the Venture is such an important place to start your mining journey. Whilst you could technically fit mining lasers to just about any ship, the Venture has a few important features to take note of. Starting with the Venture's mining frigate bonuses, we have a 5% bonus to mining yield per skill level. We'll cover skills and what to train properly in a moment, but in short, having the mining frigate skill trained to level 5 means you can get a 25% increase to your mining yield. The second mining frigate bonus is a 5% reduction per skill level to gas cloud harvesting. Gas harvesting, also known as huffing, is a topic I'll cover later in this video. Next, we have the Venture's roll bonuses. Roll bonuses do not require skills in order for their bonus to apply, and they're a key part of what makes a mining ship better than any other class of ship for mining. The first roll bonus is the 100% boost to mining and gas cloud scoop yield. This means that you immediately double your mining yield, or you could see it as having 4 mining lasers instead of 2. The second roll bonus is the +2 warp core strength bonus. This is exceptionally useful when mining in lower security systems or when huffing gas in wormholes. As a warp scrambler has a scramble strength of 2, the Venture equals it out with its warp core strength of 2. As a result, the Venture is able to warp away safely without being scrammed by a nasty pirate. One final but super important feature of the Venture is the 5,000 cubic meter ore hold that comes as standard with the ship. When mining in a ship without an ore hold, you'd likely be filling up your cargo hold after only a couple of cycles of your mining laser. The ore hold is a dedicated space, designed specifically to hold large quantities of ore, allowing you to mine or transport ore more efficiently. So now that we know what a Venture is and why we need it, how do we actually get one? Well, there are a few different methods to getting a Venture, but I'm only going to cover the 2 methods that make the most sense in my mind. If you've already been playing EVE for an amount of time, but you want to dip your toes into mining, then just buy a Venture from the marketplace. Finish watching this guide and get out there and start hoovering up some space rocks. However, if you're totally new to EVE Online, or perhaps you want to learn more about being an industrialist, then the best way to get a Venture is to follow the Air Career Program's industrial path. In addition to the Venture, completing this path will reward you with skins, skill points, mining modules, ships, and more. You'll be encouraged to speak to a mission agent, who'll reward you with a Venture after completing a couple of simple missions for him. So, you finally have your first proper mining frigate. What should you do next? Well, we need to equip our shiny new Venture with mining-specific modules. But before we do that, I just want to touch on skills to make sure you always have something ticking over in your skill queue. There are a huge number of different industrial skills on offer to us, so how do we decide what we should be training? Well, I have good news. CCP have very kindly put together 2 skill plans which are actually a really amazing foundation for capsuleers looking to dive into mining or industry as a whole. To begin with, activate either the Alpha or Omega Miner skill plan that can be found under the Industrialist category in the skill queue window. If you're an Alpha pilot, use the Alpha plan, If you're an Omega,